Hey, ducky, 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 ducky.
Tucked away from the city
Now this is what makes my day. Let's go.
is a slice of Florida country
Come on, Chrome.
that's grown over time.
He's like, you can go back to what you're doing.
Time
Oh,
She's
look at here.
big already.
hasn't been so kind
He's just like, oh, you got 5 years, that's it.
And that was how many years ago?
to its creator.
Almost 5 years ago.
J.J. Jablonski
Come on, guys.
is 54 and dying.
What does it feel like?
Kind of like being in a plane nosediving into the ground and there's no way to pull up out of it.
A career-long firefighter,
Love the job, love the camaraderie.
J.J. was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2012.
It's like somebody dropped a dump truck on my head,
He beat it a little over a year later
told me I was cured.
until it came back with a vengeance.
Twice as worse as the first time.
The job he loved to death,
I've got maybe
J.J. believes, is now taking him closer
a few months to,
to it.
several months. Only the good Lord above knows when it's going to be my time.
J.J.'s wife, Deb,
I wake up every morning and I reach over. He's still there. And I thank God for that.
Ghosty!
But these are our goats.
It's no coincidence J.J. and his wife wanted to share his story
Get off your butt, get this in place.
when lawmakers decide if Florida firefighters with certain cancers should get added benefits.
Let's take a walk down.
It could have helped them cut costs for seeking treatment out of town.
What would I tell lawmakers? I would tell them, what are you waiting for?
Enjoy the fruits of my labors.
After nearly 4 decades on the job, he officially retired last month, about a week after being promoted to captain.
Now it's just kind of seeing how things go. Crawl.
And savoring every moment of the life he lived
I'm at peace with it.
and the lives he's going to die for.
I'd sleep a lot better knowing that my brother and sister firefighters, their families are taken care of.
I'm I-Team investigator Katie Legrone, taking action for you.
"45 questions is not a measure of me being a competent educator.
It angers me that a test decides my worth.
A lot of people has told me, well, windows close and another one will open. In this situation, I'm not willing to let that window close.
They are Florida teachers who just lost the title.
How does it feel that you were sort of pushed out of this industry because of a test?
It's terrible.
Debbie Booker, a former social worker turned teacher, was just fired after 3 years teaching K through 6 special ed at a Title I school.
I was allowed to show the best part of me.
I've spent my life working with students and trying to make a difference.
So was Kathleen Moss, who has a master's degree and 30-plus years working with kids.
I always knew that teaching was something that I was called to do, that I'm supposed to do. This is my thing.
Known as the FTCE, it's a battery of must-pass teacher tests to get a license to teach here. But after a series of revisions made the test harder in 2015, failures are up. Math went from an 80% passing rate in 2014 to a 57% passing rate last year. Numbers that didn't add up for Debbie, Kathleen, and Claudia Borges in Hillsborough County.
And now I don't have a job.
One of nearly 24 teachers the school district was just forced to fire because of the FTCE.
It's always something that's difficult to deal with, that we have to terminate a teacher over testing rules, but we do have to follow state law.
Around the state, teacher-seeking districts are feeling the hit. St. Lucie County just terminated 10 teachers over the test. Palm Beach, 80. And Polk County recently issued pink slips to 79 teachers.
We never want to have to see a teacher go, especially if they're effective or a highly effective teacher.
They're leaving us without a job.
A test designed to attract the highest quality. Now forcing many
I'll be looking for another job.
to start all over.
I don't think I failed, but in their eyes I did. And there's something wrong with that picture. There really, truly is.
Jen, go look in your book.
No victim of tragedy
Sometimes I forget what she was like before.
will ever tell you
She's my little girl
surviving is easy.
in an adult body.
He would have been 16 this year coming.
But this story isn't about moving on.
Shameful.
It's about
Sad. It's really sad.
being stuck in a state system
It's ugly, very ugly.
its own people admit
It's a sad, cold process.
is nearly broken.
It's a system that needs a complete overhaul.
This was how his desk was set up.
5 years later, Lillian Beauchamp is revealing what it's like to battle for justice when the government is on the other side.
Aaron's artwork. It's awful. I mean, the whole process is awful. The whole process is awful.
Awful began March 26, 2012. 9-year-old Aaron was riding the bus home when the driver turned into the path of an oncoming semi.
I'm so sorry! What did I do?
Aaron was one of 30 students on the bus that day and the only student to die.
You just think about the things that you've missed. Lots of things in 5 years.
The family sued. After a week-long trial, a jury found the St. Lucie County School District 87% at fault, awarding $8.6 million in damages. Closure.
It's unjust.
Hardly.
I think we were beaten down.
You see, when families sue a government agency over a mistake, courts don't always have the final say. In fact, when families end their battle in a courtroom, a new fight begins to get those agencies to pay up. And that battle involves Florida lawmakers who have to approve these payouts in a process known as a Florida Claims Bill.
The hardest part is reliving this
Over and over every year. That's sad.
After the Pasco County Sheriff's Office spent years fighting, Tracy Wolgemuth eventually stopped tracking her daughter's claims bill.
I had no idea what we were up against.
Jenny was 21 when her car was struck by a Pasco deputy chasing a suspect.
I have this car right here.
13 years later,
If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have a clue.
Jenny will never drive again or live alone.
Spaghetti last night?
You did?
Can't remember 5 minutes ago
When did we have breakfast this morning?
Yeah.
and hasn't been paid a dime.
So no, it's never been about the money. It's always been about justice and doing the right thing.
I think, without question, the state of Florida has one of the worst claims bill processes that you could possibly have.
Veteran State Representative Evan Jenny of South Florida has tried changing Florida's system for years.
There are very powerful folks on the other side of this issue that would like to see nothing change.
One idea? Increasing Florida's limit on how much victims can get paid without a claims bill. Right now, Florida's cap is just $200,000. Other states, $1 million.
You're just angry because, you just want this to be resolved. You want some sort of closure.
This month, closure came after the school district finally paid for the crash that took Aaron. But the $8.6 million jury verdict whittled down to $1.5 after the claims bill process. The district spent nearly $700,000 to fight.
What do you think the death of a 9-year-old is worth? It's sad. It's really sad.
It's filled out.
Jenny is also finally getting paid for the government mistake that stole her memory. $8.6 million, now $2.6 million, after her Tallahassee battle went on for an entire decade.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not a victory. They won. Jenny didn't win. They did.
A process created to protect tax dollars, often leaving victims stuck in the government's own mistakes.
Don't punish families for a process.
I'm I-Team investigator Katie Legrone, taking action for you.